Breaking news. Philippines deploys BrahMos missiles at sea, sending shockwaves across Asia. The announcement came early in the morning, catching many by surprise and instantly dominating the airwaves. News anchors scrambled to provide updates, and the urgency in their voices reflected the gravity of the situation. The headlines flashed across television screens and news websites, with social media feeds lighting up as Filipinos and international observers alike tried to make sense of the bold move. Hashtags related to the deployment began trending within minutes, and online forums buzzed with speculation and analysis. People in Manila stopped to read, realizing that their country had just taken a bold step. On busy streets, commuters gathered around public screens, their faces a mix of concern and pride. Even in cafes and markets, conversations shifted to the news, as citizens tried to grasp what this meant for their nation's future. The Philippine Navy, for the first time, rolled out powerful BrahMos anti-ship missiles to guard its waters. These state-of-the-art missiles, developed in partnership with India, are among the fastest in the world, capable of striking targets with pinpoint accuracy. The deployment was a carefully coordinated operation, involving months of planning and training. This moment marked a turning point. For the Philippines, it was more than just a military upgrade. It was a declaration of intent. Naval officers, standing at attention as the sun rose over the coastline, understood the weight of their mission. The flag waving at dawn symbolized a new era of determination and resolve. For years, the Philippines struggled to protect its territory in the South China Sea. Outmatched by larger navies and facing constant challenges to its sovereignty, the nation's patrols often found themselves in tense standoffs. Their resources stretched thin. The waters, rich in resources and strategic value, have long been a source of conflict and anxiety. Now, with modern missiles in their arsenal, Filipino forces could defend their claims with new confidence. The BrahMos system gave them a credible deterrent, shifting the balance of power and sending a clear message that the Philippines was ready to stand its ground. Commanders expressed renewed optimism, knowing they finally had the tools to protect their nation's interests. It was both a message and a warning. Manila would not back down. Government officials addressed the nation, emphasizing unity and resolve. The world watched as the Philippines made it clear that it would defend its sovereignty, no matter the cost. The BrahMos deployment was no ordinary move. Military analysts quickly dissected the implications, noting the advanced technology and strategic significance. The convoy, escorted by police and military vehicles, became a symbol of the country's new capabilities and determination. It was a clear signal, not just to China, but to the world. International media outlets picked up the story, and diplomats from across the region reacted with a mix of caution and concern. The deployment shifted the regional balance, forcing neighboring countries to reconsider their own strategies. The seas around the Philippines had become a front line in Asia's growing rivalry. Patrol ships, now equipped with advanced surveillance and missile systems, maintained a vigilant watch. Every movement was monitored, every signal analyzed, as tensions simmered just below the surface. This story quickly became the top headline, sparking debates in living rooms, markets, and even the halls of government. Families discussed the risks and hopes, while officials weighed the next steps. Across the nation, a sense of unity and purpose began to take hold, as Filipinos rallied behind their leaders and armed forces. The Philippines had drawn a line in the sand. As the sun set over the coastline, the message was unmistakable. The nation was ready to defend its future, whatever challenges lay ahead. The world would be watching, but for now, the Philippines stood firm, proud, resolute, and unafraid. News of the missile deployment reached Beijing within hours. Chinese officials were caught off guard. They called emergency meetings and sent urgent messages to their diplomats. The mood in China shifted from confidence to surprise, even anger. In the Philippines, the reaction was different. Many Filipinos felt a sense of pride and relief. For years, they watched their fishermen harassed and their ships chased by bigger, more powerful Chinese vessels. Now, at last, Manila appeared to be standing up for itself. Some in Manila worried about what China might do next. Would there be more confrontations at sea? Would trade or tourism suffer? Still, most people felt that this bold step was necessary. They saw it as an act of self-respect. The shift was clear. In Beijing, there was tension and calculation. In Manila, there was hope and determination. The South China Sea is not just water. For Filipinos, it is a lifeline. Thousands of fishermen depend on these seas for their daily catch. Their families need the fish to survive. For many coastal communities, the sea is everything, but there is more at stake. Under the waves lie untapped riches, oil and natural gas that could fuel the country's economy. Big ships full of goods sail through these waters every day. Most of the Philippines' trade passes this way, linking Manila to the world. Sovereignty is also a key issue. The islands and reefs are part of the Philippines' national identity. Losing them would mean losing a piece of the country itself. Because of all these reasons, fishing, resources, trade, and identity, the South China Sea matters deeply to every Filipino. The dispute between the Philippines and China over the South China Sea is a story that stretches back decades, not just years. It is a saga marked by shifting alliances, rising ambitions, and a struggle for control over one of the world's most strategic waterways. For years, naval ships from both countries have faced off in tense standoffs, circling reefs, sandbars, and fishing grounds claimed by both sides. These confrontations are not just about territory. They are about national pride, livelihoods, and access to vital resources. Filipino fishermen, who have relied on these waters for generations, have found themselves on the front lines. Many have been blocked from their traditional fishing grounds, their boats rammed or sprayed with powerful water cannons by Chinese Coast Guard ships. The risks they face at sea have only grown, but Manila initially chose the path of dialogue. Philippine leaders sat down with their Chinese counterparts, hoping that diplomacy could ease tensions and bring about a peaceful resolution. They signed agreements and treaties, each one raising hopes for cooperation, mutual respect, and a future where both nations could share the sea's bounty. There were public promises of partnership, joint development, and shared resources. Leaders spoke of friendship and economic opportunity, assuring their people that peace was within reach. But for many ordinary Filipinos, especially the fishermen, little changed. Boats returned to port damaged, and frustration grew as the promised cooperation failed to materialize. Instead of easing off, China began building massive artificial islands, transforming reefs into military outposts with airstrips and radar installations. Its presence in the disputed waters only expanded, raising alarm across the region. In 2016, after years of legal battles, an international tribunal in The Hague delivered a landmark ruling in favor of the Philippines. The court declared that China had no legal basis to claim most of the South China Sea, rejecting its so-called nine-dash line. The verdict was hailed as a victory for international law and for smaller nations standing up to powerful neighbors. Yet, China dismissed the ruling outright, continuing its patrols and construction. Tensions escalated, with more frequent standoffs at sea and growing anger on the streets of Manila. After years of waiting, hoping, and watching promises go unfulfilled, patience in Manila began to wear thin. The sense of betrayal was palpable, both among officials and ordinary citizens. Diplomacy, it seemed, had its limits. The Philippine government started to explore new strategies, strengthening its military alliances and seeking advanced defense systems to protect its rights and its people in the contested waters. The BrahMos missile stands as a remarkable symbol of international collaboration, born from the combined expertise and innovation of India and Russia. This partnership has resulted in a weapon that is not only technologically advanced, but also strategically significant for the countries involved. What truly sets the BrahMos apart is its incredible speed, capable of traveling at nearly 3 times the speed of sound. This supersonic velocity means it can reach its target in a matter of minutes, leaving very little time for enemy defenses to react or intercept. The missile's ability to skim just above the sea surface makes it extremely difficult to detect using conventional radar systems. Its low-altitude flight path allows it to evade most modern air defense systems, making it a formidable challenge for any adversary. In real combat scenarios, this stealthy approach can be the difference between success and failure. With its precision and power, the BrahMos can strike enemy ships and land targets far from the coastline. This gives defenders a significant advantage, allowing them to neutralize threats before they get too close. For any navy, having such a long-reaching and accurate weapon is a true game-changer. For the Philippine military, acquiring the BrahMos represents a massive leap forward in capability. It's not just an upgrade, it's a transformation. The arrival of this missile system marks a new era for the country's defense forces, providing them with cutting-edge technology that rivals some of the world's best. Until now, much of the Philippine military's equipment was outdated, often decades old, and lacking the advanced features needed to face modern threats. This left the country vulnerable and limited in its ability to respond to challenges in its surrounding waters. With the deployment of BrahMos missiles, the Philippines now has a credible deterrent. These new weapons give the country the ability to protect its maritime territory, even when facing larger and more technologically advanced navies. It's a significant boost to national security and confidence. The BrahMos can strike targets up to 290 kilometers away, covering vast stretches of sea and coastline. This extended range means that the Philippines can monitor and defend a much larger area than ever before, keeping potential threats at bay. In the context of the disputed South China Sea, this new capability is especially important. Hostile ships operating in these contested waters must now think twice before approaching Philippine territory, knowing that a swift and powerful response is possible at any moment. The introduction of the BrahMos is not just about acquiring advanced technology, it's about asserting sovereignty and demonstrating that the Philippines is ready and willing to defend its interests. Ultimately, this new weapon sends a clear message to both allies and adversaries that the Philippines is committed to protecting its people, its territory, and its future. The BrahMos is more than a missile. It's a statement of national resolve and pride. The Philippine military carefully chose where to place these missiles. Some were set up on Luzon's western coast, facing the South China Sea. Others were placed on Palawan, much closer to the disputed Spratly Islands. These are the flashpoints, the places where trouble often starts. By covering key choke points, the Philippines can now watch its most vulnerable waters. If a hostile navy approaches, the missiles stand ready to respond. This helps deter aggression and protect fishermen, traders, and Coast Guard patrols. The chosen sites also send a warning. They show that Manila is not just defending its own shores. The missiles can reach deep into areas claimed by China, including reefs and shoals where past clashes happened. Every launcher is more than a weapon. It is a signal, both to friends and to rivals, that the Philippines means business. For years, the Philippine military was seen as weak compared to its neighbors. Soldiers lacked modern weapons, and the Navy's ships were old. This made it hard to protect the country's vast coastline. Many felt vulnerable. With the arrival of the BrahMos, things have started to change. Morale in the armed forces is rising. Soldiers and sailors now train with new equipment, building skills and confidence. The public's trust in the military is also growing. This new strength does not just help at sea. It changes how the Philippines is seen in the region. Other countries now know that Manila can defend itself, and that aggression will not go unanswered. Still, this is a first step. The challenge now is to use these new tools wisely, balancing strength with restraint. The Philippines' bold move has caught the attention of the whole region. Southeast Asian countries like Vietnam and Indonesia are watching closely. Some feel inspired, others worry about the risk of escalation. At the same time, allies like the United States, Japan, and Australia have welcomed the deployment. They say it helps keep the region free and open. US warships have increased their patrols, and military exercises with the Philippines have grown in scale. But there are dangers. The more weapons on both sides, the greater the chance for misunderstanding. A single mistake could lead to a crisis, or even conflict at sea. The hope is that the new missiles will make rivals think twice before acting, creating space for dialogue and peace. China's leaders have called the deployment a provocation. Coast Guard ships have moved closer to Philippine waters, and new standoffs have already begun. Tensions rise with each passing week. Despite this, the Philippines repeats its message. The BrahMos missiles are for defense, not attack. Manila says it wants peace, but it will not surrender its rights. The goal is to deter, not to fight. The missiles are meant to shield the nation, not to start a war. The region stands at a crossroads. The Philippines hopes that by showing strength, it can win respect, avoid conflict, and keep the peace in a troubled sea. It is a risk, but one the country is willing to take for its people and its future.